more food news for you today, folks. An estimated 3 million Americans could lose access to food stamps under a USDA proposal to eliminate broad-based categorical eligibility. More than 40 states take advantage of the current eligibility rule that makes the families who are eligible for temporary assistance for needy families also eligible for a supplemental nutritional assistance program, which most people know of as SNAP benefits. In some cases, this increase helps with the eligibility income limit for SNAP. The existing policy that would be eliminated under the USDA proposals permits states to adopt less restrictive asset tests so that families, older adults, and individuals with disabilities can have a modest savings without losing their benefits. The Trump administration has determined the millions who would lose access to the SNAP benefits as a result of the proposed change would make up 9% of all recipients. However, the USDA also calculated that the change would disproportionately affect older adults because 13% of all households with individuals 60 and older would lose eligibility. Now, these proposed food stamp eligibility changes will affect many people. Maybe it'll affect you. Maybe it'll affect someone that you know. But these changes will affect our food, just as the geoengineering is affecting our food and the ability to grow food. The crops have been less than what they usually are. When I go to the farmer's market, there's food, but some markets aren't even able to sell because their crops are growing so slowly. Even in the garden, I've shown you garden pictures, and it looks beautiful, but there's no tomatoes ripe yet. Food just is not growing at the rate that it used to. Now in the Bible, we know the story about Joseph. Most people think about Joseph and his amazing coat of many colors. But when he was in Egypt and he talked to the Pharaoh, he told the Pharaoh there would be 7 years of famine and then 7 years of food. So while there were 7 years of food, it was a time to prepare for the 7 years of famine that came. We have to pay attention to what's going on around us, what's going on in legislature, and what's going on like with the food recalls and people in grocery stores doing inappropriate things, using the restroom on the food, opening containers, licking the food, opening bottles, drinking, and then pouring the liquid back into the bottle. We have to pay attention for our own sake and for the sake of our families, our children, and our grandchildren, and those that we love. Make sure that when you're getting food at a grocery store or a food shelf or wherever you may get your food, that the packaging is sealed. If it's fresh produce, examine it. Make sure that it hasn't been tampered with. Make sure that it looks good and healthy and decent for the eating. Spend your money wisely and try to store up a little bit extra. Because as we see, our weather's been changing like a pendulum. One day it's raining, one day it's freezing cold, or at least here where I live, it's been that way. People have been having tsunamis, tornadoes, earthquakes. There's been a lot of things going on, and that all impacts our food and our ability to get to places to get food. These are just a few things to think about. Just as the ant stores up and prepares for the winter, we should also do the same. Because we never know when there just may not be enough for everyone to go around. So, dehydrating food is a great idea. buying dehydrated or freeze-dried food from different companies, that's a good idea too. Jarring, canning food, that's a good idea. It doesn't mean that everything that you have has to be in that form. I mean, you can get fresh produce, like what you see here on the screen, and you can have the fresh produce and work with it. Fresh produce is wonderful, but it's also good to have some things stored up in case a storm comes, or the power is out, or you lose the ability to get out to get things that you need. This is Danette's Kitchen, signing off for today.